Hey, it's Kristen, and I'm back for another lesson. This is my favorite lesson in intuitive eating by far because it's the most fun. It is the most fulfilling and solidifying part of this journey. It is rediscovering the satisfaction factor of eating. As a massive foodie, someone who's grown up in food culture in South Louisiana, um, our food is damn good. And I have learned how to cook damn good food too. When I was growing up and I was going through disordered eating, I remember my mom, she is the best chef, like stay at home mom. She was raising 7 kids. She had to cook and she became a phenomenal chef. Oh my God. Like, and as a foodie, there is something that is ignited in me when I eat. It's like the endorphins like are running through the body. If you've ever seen that clip on Ratatouille where he eats a bite of cheese and he sees and there's like fireworks going off, and then he eats a strawberry and then there's little fireworks going off, and then he eats a bite of both of them at the same time, and there's just a dance of fireworks above his head, and he is so dropped into the emotion and the experience that it consumes him. Funny how food can do that for you when you leave guilt off the table. Now, if Remy, I think that's what his name was. I don't remember, the rat. If he had certain thought processes around cheese or fruit, if he took a bite of that, there wouldn't be so much light and explosions and satisfaction and pleasure happening if he felt guilt around cheese or fruit. So, discovering the satisfaction factor is the best part of this journey because it gives you permission to feel good when you eat. I have done workshops on this and I'm still contemplating how to really encapsulate how to experience food. We experience food through the senses, right? First, maybe we smell it coming across the room, or maybe someone's been cooking for us and we smell it in the house when we walk in. So it's a tease. It's like I call it making love with food because it's so sensual and so rewarding. It sounds so silly, but it is a whole body experience if you can let yourself. You're going to smell it in through the nose and you're going to inhale, and maybe you're picking up on certain smells and you could pick apart what's actually being cooked. I remember as a kid, if I walked in the house, the smell of onions and garlic and bell peppers were always roaming the house because that is the holy trinity of what my mom cooks with. And it's just, and then it's almost reminiscent and it brings you back. It's like nostalgic because smell is so attached to the memory. So maybe you start to get an influx of smells and you're like, oh my God, that smells amazing. Oh, I bet it's going to be so good. And the food comes out and you're looking at it and you're like, you ever been in a restaurant and the waitress comes out with a plate of food, but like not for your table? And you were just like, what are they having? That looks phenomenal. So you eat with your eyes as well. The presentation of a plate. You ever like fixed a soup and it was just like a bland cup of soup? But if you go to a fancy restaurant, they always drizzle it with a little something on the plate. They add parsley and pepper flakes, and it's visually pleasing. Making your plate colorful with different varieties of food and vegetables and fruit is a great way to stimulate the sight and the experience of food. If you eat a plate of food all one color, it's not as fun as watching a plate of red and green and orange and browns and greens. I don't know if I said green already. But we're going to eat with our eyes too. We're going to look for that satisfaction factor in the eyes. And then if it's finger foods, we're going to pick up the food and we're going to be able to feel it with our hands. Or maybe you're using a fork at that point. Put it into the mouth. And not only are you going to taste the food, but you're going to feel the food in your mouth. So if you've ever watched any of those satisfying food videos on Instagram, and you can hear the crunch when someone bites into something, or maybe it's something with a mouthfeel, maybe it has a little bit of fat content to it, and it gives a really nice coat to the palate of the mouth, and it's warm, or maybe your food's cold. The texture of food and the feel of food on your hands and in your mouth is another aspect that's very satisfying, especially if you can think about having a sore throat and someone does make you a cup of soup. That cup of soup running down your throat feels so good, doesn't it? And if you're cold, having that soup or something warm, you can feel it run down the body and warm the whole body. I could use some soup right now. And taste. Right? We're all very familiar with that one. Taste and smell are so linked together. And so when you do practice enjoying your food, you want to breathe while you eat. You ever ate something when your nose was stopped up and you couldn't taste anything? It's because the nose and the taste buds are really connected. So the more you can breathe when you eat. So take a bite and inhale and let the whole experience melt together. You can pick up on notes of something bitter, something savory, something umami, something salty, something sweet, something spicy. And you can you can experience them getting married in the mouth. Every time you take another bite or you chew your food a little bit more, all the flavors start to marry. And when you can stay present for your food, all of this entire experience, the entire experience will marry itself. The smell, the sight, the taste, the flavor, the texture of your food, the temperature, all coming together. And when you really enjoy your food, it is hard not to smile. It is hard not to let that satisfaction touch you in some sort of way. Like I said though, if you have guilt running around in your brain while you are trying to enjoy your food, or there's chaos around, you're not sitting down for a relaxing meal, you're not going to have the same experience. So beyond experiencing your food, like I just said, make sure you do have a relaxing environment to really enjoy your food and be present with it. I hope this lesson helped, and I hope the next meal you get to experience will be very, 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 very much like the rat in Ratatouille. All of the explosions happening and all the sensations filling your body. It's one of my favorite aspects of intuitive eating, and it is the most enjoyable and rewarding one. I hope you can make love to your food today.